Hey guys, DesolatorMagic here, and I have a not-so-happy video that's gonna make you have a not-so-happy day once you hear what I have to say. There's a new method for cheating, so put your surprise face on. I know, I'll give you a second to calm down from the sheer shock of that announcement. Now here's the thing though, I'm gonna catch a lot of crap for making this video, I assume, because, you know, this may also come as a shock to you, but I do try to be somewhat responsible in what I report and how, you know, how the information being leaked to the public will, you know, what the effect will be, etc. So me saying, hey, here's another method for cheating, will it result in more people doing this? Absolutely, unfortunately. But not only will it result in more people getting caught, but hopefully it means that, you know, there's something that can be done about this. The only problem is there's really nothing that can be done about this. It's cheating with 100% plausible deniability. And that really sucks. But I mean, half the time at my old LGS, somebody would accidentally hold 8 cards in their hand completely on purpose and then just be like, oh, it was an accident. You know, plausible deniability. Or my favorite one, and apparently their favorite one, because people cheat this way all the time. Not only are they douchebag for playing collected company, but then they'll draw them one at a time. Okay, they draw. They get to the limit of draw, which I think is 6 or whatever on that card. And, oh, whoops, they whiffed. Uh-oh. So they'll draw the 7th card and hope you just don't notice. And they might say, oh, I got distracted. I thought this was my hand that I was holding. And, oh, I forgot I wasn't counting. Oh, we'll just let this spell, you know, basically get countered automatically and go to the graveyard, burn out my mana, and oops, I totally won't do it again, even though they absolutely will. In fact, you want to talk about plausible deniability? I mean, look at Fabrizio. That guy, like, he was just like, oh, I didn't realize I wasn't shuffling after stacking my deck. Are you freaking kidding me? Or at least mana weaving, not really stacking, I guess, but whatever, it's all cheating. But this one is especially tricky. It is insanely tricky and insanely difficult to catch. And I'm not even going to say how I found out about this, but I'm glad somebody clued me in on this. So what somebody does, and this is almost exclusively at the, you know, top competitive levels, because it's so stealthy and so, like, you could say you had no idea. I mean, some circumstances would force you into cheating like this. That's the thing. You would be forced to cheat. That's just so messed up. But yeah, this is apparently getting big on the pro scene. I mean, for all I know, it's one person that was suspected of doing it. Now I'm making it worse. But you can watch for it, and you could call over a judge and just disqualify them immediately. Actually, probably not disqualified. Like I said, plausible deniability. So anyway, here's how these dicks do it. They go to one shop, and they buy one very particular brand of sleeves. It almost doesn't matter which, and because I know they would instantly sue me, I'm not going to say what brand for sure I verified this works with. Also, it's like a really good brand and I like them. So the person buys that one set of sleeves, and usually they're matte sleeves, you know, in that they have like some amount of texture. They're not just utterly flat gloss. So, you know, they stick together, and when you build a deck out of them, they don't just go sliding. Like, they're not just completely slick. Then they go to a different local gaming store that has had them in stock for a slightly different amount of time, or got them from a slightly different distributor in a different load. So as long as it's at a different time, and it wasn't from the exact same run, then this works. So they'll buy X amount of one sleeve, and then they'll buy the same quantity of the exact same sleeve, exact same color, but like from a different distributor, and it was in stock at a different time. It was ran off by the people who made the sleeves at a different time, and that's the key. And unfortunately, the pattern is slightly different. And it's not even a pattern, it is randomized. They come out on like full sheets, so it's not like literally a pattern. But just depending upon slight variances in the machine that made the sleeves, it's going to be like a little bit deeper of a texture or a little bit shallower of a texture. It'll just look so slightly different, especially with like side lighting. And once in a while, the plastic is even a little tiny bit different color, which that's like plain as day to catch, so they won't usually go that far, but it's basically just the depth of the little ridges and valleys that texturize the sleeve. So what they'll do is they'll take a really important card it's important to know if it's on the top, like a Resurrect from the Graveyard card. You really want to know if that's next before you toss more cards into the graveyard. So just the 4 resurrection spells or whatever, they'll put it in the sleeves that are slightly different. And you would have to like basically know that the sleeves are different. I mean, not only that, but if you're sitting across an entire table from somebody, you better have insanely good like owl level vision to see it. Luckily I have 2015 plus vision. Haven't caught anybody doing this yet though. So then the pro always knows, okay, this is, you know, Well, it helps if they have a face down card on the table already so that they can compare it. So what they probably do is they set down their hand, take their hand off it, and pretend to be thinking, rub their beard or whatever, because, every player has a beard. I've actually already touched on that. We already made the beard video on this channel. So then they look at the back of, the other 5 cards that they have in hand, and then they look at the back of the card that's on the stack. And, you can tell what they're doing. I mean, that would be my first thing, and I'd say, hey, you know what? Let me, lean over and take a really close look. I think there's something wrong with your sleeve. And you're allowed to inspect the back of somebody's sleeve. Probably not take it off the library, but at least look at it in case there's like a fingernail mark or a rip or something or a fold. And if you think, hey, that does look like it was pressed at a different time, it does look deeper or shallower or, different direction, or it's turned 90 degrees, or the texturizing was a different size, or whatever might have changed during the manufacturing process, 6 months apart or whatever, call that judge over, because that means they are cheating. And what you could do is, even if the judge has like poor vision, which a lot of them are kind of older, they probably do, you could say, hey, you spread out their library. I will pick out all 4 of the cards that are marked like this and do it. Say, okay, yeah, these are the ones with slightly higher ridges on the back. Boom, flip them over, all 4. There it is. They're disqualified permanently and you get an auto win. Like at that point, marked cards, I guarantee they're out of the entire tournament. Guaranteed. And I believe because of the quality scoring system, your strength of opponent just went down. Isn't that lovely? So honestly, if your opponent has really poor vision, you could probably get away with this, which is so messed up. You have to be so close to see it. Like, you'd have to have your library directly under your eyes in most cases, and then set down your hand and compare them side by side, because it's subtle. I mean, you guys could do this. It's super, super subtle. Now, I've already heard of people buying, God, I really wish I could say the brand, certain printed sleeves that usually put printed graphics on the back, and they're perpetual run ones, like mana symbols, like ones that aren't ran and then stopped, or even limited runs of sleeves. They'll go buy them at one store, then go buy them at another, and one was 100,000 sleeves up in the machine, like in a row, like they were printed 100,000 later, so the ink was just a little bit off. I mean, look at Magic cards themselves; they have slightly different ink hues in most cases. So they'll find a sleeve where it's got like a flame on it, and the flame is just a tiny little bit less orange and a little bit more yellow, just because of ink variance. Like they had to refill the ink or clean out the ink nozzle or whatever, and then there you go. And they'll use that to market, and they'll say, oh, it's not my fault. The sleeves are defective. I've heard about that one, but I mean, you could say, hey, I think it's marked. It's obviously different. I mean, look at them side by side. Unsleeve it, resleeve it a new one, and we'll resume the game. And probably shuffle, too. And, they ain't getting kicked out. That's why a lot of people do that, but if they do it repeatedly, the judges are going to catch on. And here's the thing, going back to the one that's just the texture difference, a subtle, like press weight difference when they were making the texture on the back, they could say, I always play with these sleeves, I had to buy more, like I bought, 60, like exactly 60, like who does that? Who even sells that? I don't even know. Oh, but then one split, so I bought more, I bought another pack later, and it's not my fault that the second pack looks a little bit different. Blame the company who made the sleeves. They're the ones who made them inconsistent. Where else am I supposed to get matching sleeves? What was I supposed to do? They were the same brand, same product number. I even bought them at the same store, which they could just lie and say that. So how am I supposed to know? I mean, the packs were right next to each other on the shelf. How was I supposed to know they were different? I assume they were from the same order. I mean, what are they going to do, ask you for a receipt? That's why this method is so royally messed up, but you can see from their behavior, you can see them looking back and forth. If anybody's honestly staring at the top of their library for more than 5 seconds, call a judge over just to fire a shot across the bow, like a warning shot. I don't know how your cards are marked. I don't know what you're doing, but I assume they are, so screw you. And marking cards goes back to the frickin' 1700s, so this ain't nothing new. I mean, it's been the most famous type of cheating in any card game pretty much ever. So just watch for it. If you see people paying way too much attention to the top of their deck, or shuffling in a weird way and then stopping shuffling, and then it looks like the top card is slightly curved, or it has just a slight nick in the corner, people call the judge over all the time, hey, that sleeve isn't in brand new condition. And so people who don't want to get disqualified tend to re-sleeve their deck every single round, basically, because I mean, you already spent all the money to fly out there to a GP. And then there's the people at all my local gaming stores where they use the same sleeves for 10 years straight, and they're so damaged that they're not marked. Like, they're all in such bad condition that you can't say, oh, that's that one that's in terrible condition. They're all in terrible condition. If they don't have the budget, I ain't gonna be complaining. But if I was at the Pro Tour, you know damn well I'm gonna have a microscope in my opponent's face the entire game. I honestly think with all the different cheating tactics that I know about and that I can watch for, I could probably go to like a Grand Prix and just go 8-0 or 10-0 or however the hell many rounds there are, just by catching my opponent cheating every single round in a row. That's how bad the state of MTG is, and I can't wait to see who was found out to be cheating in the tournament that's going on right now. I'm sure it'll be somebody. If you call me pessimistic, just go Google MTG cheaters, and you'll be as pessimistic as I am, or as I like to call it, realistic. But for your own safety, do not go into a very crucial, important match and just assume that your opponent's not cheating. That is mega stupid. Assume they are cheating, or act like they're maybe cheating, but hope that they're not, or something like that. I don't know, just open a fortune cookie. It's probably more graceful than what I just said. Damn it, now I want orange chicken. Well, I'm going to go get orange chicken, but if you like all these awesome reports that completely ruin your day, hit that subscribe button, and most of my videos are a lot more helpful instead of just grim, but hey, if you didn't know about this before, you know about it now. It's one more thing to watch for, and one more cheater that could get kicked out of your LGS, or one less loss that you could take at a GP or a Pro Tour. So that's the positivity coming out of this video, and I will see you guys next video. Oh wait, one more thing. You probably noticed the interesting gameplay going on in the background of this video. It's a very, very powerful, very sneaky, very interesting deck that I built, and you would already know about it if you were following me on Twitter, because there's an unlisted video on my channel that I linked to from Twitter showing off the deck. It was only like a teaser spoiler, but I'll have a full deck list in a day or two. But hey, if you want updated deck lists for videos that you've already seen decks about, and trust me, when I make a change, it's really important, you definitely want to follow me on Twitter. Or if you just want to keep a running tally of how many weird ways I end up injuring myself on a daily basis, because I always report that on Twitter if it's funny enough, or if you just want to see funny Photoshop pictures, me sending big doses of reality to the Wizards of the Coast staff, me collecting ideas, getting votes, and, soliciting photos and pretty much everything else for new videos, and the occasional cat meme, you definitely want to head over to Twitter and subscribe to DesolatorMagic. The link is in the description, so head on over and I'll see you next video.